fire alarms. If the alarm should sound, please exit the building using the nearest available fire exit. Once leaving the building, please make your way to the muster point, which is located by the staff car park and is identified by the green sign positioned in the shrub bed. Please make yourself known to a member of staff if on duty. This meeting may be recorded. The meeting may also be recorded and broadcast by the press and members of the public. Please see Section 8 of the Guidance of Public Participation, including recording and use of social media at meetings. Sean, if we receive any apologies. Thank you. Declarations of interest. To note any declaration of interest made by members in connection with an agenda item. Members to specify the nature of the interest. Has anyone got an interest in something?
Do I need to declare or we go ask for that committee meetings to change? No. Good. Thank you.
Anyone else? No. To receive any written request for dispensations and to grant any request for dispensation as appropriate. Thank you. We're going to move to item 3, which is co-option. I am going to hand this over to Sean shortly. I'll give him 1 minute now. Yeah. Okay. There's 3 people who are sitting very kindly over there. Mr. Holloway, Mr. Webster and Ms. Brown. I've got 1 minute for each of you if you'd like to stand and add anything to what you've already provided. So if you could let me know if you would like to stand. Mr. Webster.
Yeah. Hello everyone, I'm Bill Webster. I live in Blenheim Gardens, just off Nash Road near Newton School. I should tell you right now I am a recent Liberal Democrat Party member, but I have no intention, if you decide to choose me as a candidate, of turning any Lib Dem line that I disagree with. I'm a journalist, I'm a freelance journalist. I spent 24 years working on the Times. I was latterly environment editor. This year I was awarded Environment Journalist of the Year in the National Press Awards. I care deeply about our community. I think we're blessed with some fantastic facilities in this council area, particularly our parks and open spaces, and I'm very keen to see them well managed and better used if possible. Thank you very much.
Would you like to say anything?
Yes. My name is Pauline Brown. I am contributing to the Labour Party's national policy and political strategies very quickly on this. Because I thank you for letting me be here. Thank you.
Firstly, I'd like to thank you for giving me this opportunity to tell you a bit more about myself. I'm a local guy. I was born just down the road at Hyde Hospital, spent the first 18 years living in Ditton-Purlow. Apart from the 4-year period where I worked away, I've spent the remainder of my life in the Tottenham Marchwood area until moving back to Bucksash in 2017 with my family. Main work-related accomplishment was Frawley Parish Council, where as a deputy head groundsman, came into regular contact with councillors, gaining vital skills in public relations, project management, as well as managing conservation areas. From there, I acted as head groundsman, writing reports to the council, managing budgets, and setting budgets in the meetings. Unfortunately, back problems took over my life, the ability to do manual work in 2016. However, I saw this as an opportunity, went back to university, gained an HE diploma in English literature. Yes, things have been tough, especially during COVID and financial crisis. And as a family, there's been times when we've had to rely on food banks. Although times are extremely hard, being disabled has given me a chance to listen to who I am and to prioritise my core beliefs. Part of this was becoming more active in the community. I'm a governor at 2 schools. This gives me vital skills in strategic planning and finance. And at Greenwood School, I'm a lead health and safety governor, regularly performing health and safety audits. I'm passionate.
Thank you. I do have to keep it short because you can see we've got quite a few people here. Sure, over to you.
Okay, members, this is a closed ballot. Each member has 1 vote on the ballot sheet that you've got. If you can just give me a sign when
major vote, we'll come around and collect the balls, we'll do a quick thumbs up, and hopefully we'll be able to announce the winning candidate and chair them and announce the winning nomination.
Will it hold it?
Up to you. Well, yeah, up to you. I want to be as good as we can, obviously, so we'll try to remember everything part of that. Just for the council, when the winner is announced, in order to join the council, I need you to sign a declaration of acceptance for it. Once that's signed, then you can join the meeting. Okay?
Right, I'd like to thank you all for putting your names forward. It is important. We have, on the first vote, Mr. Dexter, you have been co-opted onto this council. Thank you, Mr. Holloway.
A formality.
Item 4, community safety update. To receive reports from the police. That's brilliant.
Yeah, hi everyone. For those who don't know me, my name is PC Nathan Brimley. I'm part of the Waterside Police team and I'm the local designated neighbourhood officer. So my email and mobile number is all public. Some of you may know that, some of you may not. My sergeant usually comes here. He hasn't been able to make it today last minute, but he has given me some notes to go through. However, I don't come here often, so what I was going to inquire was, would you like me to read through the notes as essentially a presentation of what he's written down, or would you like to just have this chance to have a general chat, ask questions, or raise any concerns? What's preferable for all of you, essentially?
I think if you could read what he was going to say, and then maybe
Sounds good to me.
I'd like to ask a few questions.
Of course. So firstly, just so we're all on the same page, so the Waterside team consists currently of 4 PCs, including myself, and 3 PCSOs, obviously with our sergeant at the helm. There isn't a specific officer to a specific area in the Waterside. We as a team cover the Waterside as a whole. Above my sergeant, we've got Chief Inspector Nick Marsden, who sends his regards, and we have a new inspector whose name is Tom Hannon, and he's came from us from the Eastleigh District, so he's someone with a huge amount of knowledge, huge amount of experience, hopefully be good for the Waterside going forward. So our crime levels, in the last month, we've had 554 incidents reported, which is obviously a high number. In the last 3 months, we've had 1,600 incidents, Both of those numbers are up from what they were last year. The team has currently dealt with 171 investigations in the last 3 months, and again that is up from the same time period. That's similar to the demand in Totton, but is lesser, is a lot more than New Milton, Lymington and Ringwood, despite our team having less officers than their team. Currently the team's got we call a FAT outcome rate. FAT is kind of our targets, if you like. So the formal action taken. It's currently at about 20.9%. The only thing to note with that statistic is some investigations take longer to conclude, so that number will actually end up being higher for the time period. But as of right now, it's at 20.9%. And 45% of our stop and searches were positive in the last 3 months, and hundreds of pieces of intel have been submitted, and that comes from people we speak to in the community. You come and talk to us and tell us about what's happening in your area. Our kind of role is ever evolving, and we're becoming more of our investigative demand is increasing. So we're dealing with more and more investigations, which is partly why our investigations are higher than they used to be. Shoplifting is still a prominent issue in the Waterside. We now have a business crimes officer, so they are based in Totton, but their focus is to solely tackle shoplifting. We still assist them, but that is their main role. When a shoplifter is reported, even if it's automatically filed, and this is the same with any offence for that matter, our team will still manually look at it and review it. So even if someone reports a crime and it's instantly filed by triage, our team will still look at it and we'll see if there's anything we can do. So our team, as part of the neighbours team, we also manage vulnerable people and children and also victims of domestic violence. So currently as a team we have 17 high risk management cases. That's between myself and the 3 PCSOs who manage those. Those will be things like children who commit lots of crimes, or people who go missing often, or children who are at risk of exploitation, that kind of stuff. So over the last 2 months, our time has been focused on the issues that a lot of you will be aware of that have been occurring in Hythe. A child offender has committed close to 40 different offences that have been affecting both individuals and businesses. Each and every one of these crimes have been or are in the process of being investigated. That will be going to court, just for everyone's awareness, and that offender has been arrested numerous times. So we are dealing with that, and the matters will be going to court. So obviously we do a lot of work for schools. If anyone has links to any schools, obviously let me know, because we want to do more. So that's a good way to prevent stuff going forward, is if we can get into schools early. It's also a good place for us to try and get education about knife crime, county lines, sextortion, arsons and all that kind of stuff. ASP is obviously an issue in many communities, including the Waterside and Hythe and Dibden area specifically. We do work with the ACSOs, and they're a great team, and we try and do more work with them, and hopefully we're going to do more work with them going forward. With burglaries and theft of motor vehicles, obviously they still occur in our area. We don't have a higher proportion than anyone else, but those are crimes that do occur, sadly. We're going to try and do some more stuff with Forestry England going forward. So the Waterside specifically does have a bit of a problem with arson that seems to come and go. That's what the team is tackling. Me and a colleague are going on some courses to allow us to do more in the forest itself, and also have access to the vehicle which will allow us to do that. So as you can imagine, the Ford Focus doesn't do very well off-roading. Obviously speeding is a massive one everywhere. We do what we can with speeding, and we will do more going forward. We have, most of the team are now trained with a speed laser device, and the speed cameraman does visit the Waterside frequently. And a great way to let us know what's affecting you is Let's Talk, which I'm sure my side will told you about, so Hampshire Alert Let's Talk. It allows you to tell us essentially what's happening in your area and what's affecting you in your area. So for example, if you pick speed and ASB, it all goes into a mind map where you can see exactly what issues are affecting your specific area, and it allows us to then target things from there. Obviously, we have a social media page, which hopefully most of you have seen. It's called Waterside Police. We update it as much as we can, but I'm hoping we can start updating it a lot more, because we do a considerable amount of stuff. But because we're so busy, it means we spend less time posting about it. But I think it's good for you all to be informed, and that's why hopefully we'll be able to start updating that more as well. So that's everything I have written on here. Does anyone have any questions?
Please, because thank you for that report. And I appreciate the point. We have less PCs in our area of the forest than the others, and we have a greater workload. Crime statistics have been increasing year on year recently, which I'm sure you're aware of. In those figures that you referred to, do they include antisocial behaviour or not? Because I believe that is increasing in our area. And do we also include increasing drug issues? I've got one other question after that.
Yeah, what was the second point you said? Sorry, the regulars. So ASPNs, what was drugs? So because I haven't written this, I can't confirm. However, this should be any crimes and incidents that have been reported. So that should include drug offences and things like ASP and stuff like that. So I think they would have also, especially ASP, would have risen. Partly of that would have been the chap I said about who's committed 40, so that's an extra 40, it's just
more than ASP.
Yeah, it is, yeah, exactly, yeah. So he would have played a part in that. Obviously the population is higher, so there is always going to be an upwards trend. What we need to figure out is if the trend is kind of expected as it would be with a population growth, or if it's just due to us not having enough people, for example. I do know the Sergeant is advocating for us to get more people. So ultimately, the more people we have, the more we can be out and about, and the more the workload gets shared. So I know he is advocating for that.
One other question. First of all, what's the response time for the at-night area cars? If you don't know, that's a second.
Yeah.
Do they still come from out the forest?
So area cars are just one specific response unit, but there is still a response team, all of which will still respond to 909 calls, and also me and my team also respond to them. So the area car is forest based, so no one comes from Southampton, so everyone is. Yeah, so nowadays there is no Southampton area car that covers us, so every resource is forest based. However, that forest based area car could be going to a job in Ringwood, for example. However, there will still be other units, and my team when we're on, who will respond to 909 calls. So, for example, I was on a shift just a couple of days ago, where I was 6 hours off late and went to about 6 what we call grade 1 incidents. So live jobs zipping about. That's in addition to a normal workload. So there isn't a specific response time, because it depends what it's. Our job is so fluid, but there are people who will come when you call us when needed.
Thank you.
A fellow councillor in the Monetary area. This is about they suffered an instance of stuff being strewn across the road to slow cars down.
Oh yes, yeah.
And then, low rate carjacking really.
Yeah.
Is there any pursuit on that? Positivity I can give back to it.
Yeah, so it's being investigated currently, and there's a few kind of ops in place. Obviously, I can't go into detail, but it is something we are looking to actively try and manage. Because the first time it happened was obviously a complete unforeseen event, but it's clear that it's something that needs to be hit in the bud. So yeah, it is being investigated, and there are other things in the background of us trying to get ahead of it, because it's naturally quite a concerning thing, especially for those who live in Marshall. That's quite a major route out. So
he said they understood there'd be a kind of copycat,
Yeah, so as far as I know, there's only been one actual attempt of actually taking the car. That the actual barriers and stuff have been messed with a couple of times, but I don't know if that's by the same people or just people trying to cause a nuisance. a couple of days ago, similar happened where the traffic lights have been placed downwards. However, when I saw the traffic lights earlier that day, they weren't working. So again, that will get reported on Facebook as potentially the same group. Right. There is a chance it's just someone's gone, well, these are broken, let's just move them. So it's hard to know, but yeah, it's been looked into.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Pauline, you can't, but if you email your question into Sean,
Yeah.
Sean will forward it onto the police.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I did.
No, you can go
You're
first.
the next, Councillor Wicks.
Right, so I've got 3 questions for you, Councillor Clark, raised one of mine. Firstly, is it those area cars that are going to be responding to instances that happen between 12 and 4 in the early hours, which is where a lot of the incidents in recent months happened in the village centre and have targeted other areas in the community, and often where many of the team are not on call on shift, and a lot of crimes are happening, and we're having to be reactive. How can we reassure particularly businesses and tradespeople whose vans are targeted in that time that these crimes can be sort of challenged, because it seems to be a bit of a window of opportunity? And my 2 other points are, I know NFTC and yourself are doing big work on the core issues of domestic violence, and I just wondered, particularly unfortunately, whenever there's a major sporting tournament, unfortunately there's always high level campaigns and an enhanced risk of that. If due to the work that's been done, there has been a reduction in those numbers recently. And lastly, I just wondered if neighbour disputes, particularly over parking, were included in your reporting, please.
No worries. So with the first one, so with area cars, the best way to explain it, so area cars aren't the only people who respond to jobs. So our response policing teams are now called the district policing team. They, as a whole team, every officer on that is responsible for going to live jobs. An area car is just a specific role in that. You can almost see it as like the flagship of the team. It's a car that is always double crewed. They will tend to be your most experienced officers, and they will try and prioritise grade 1 incidents. So those will be like the ideal first choice, but everyone else on the team will still go to live incidents. So many times you see police responding, it won't be the area car, it will be another member of the DPT team. So yeah, they all work, obviously it's a 24-hour team. And yeah, your second question about the rise of domestic abuse during games, was your question what happens to...
If the numbers have come back, because it's been an NFDT and community safety priority for at least the last 3 years as part of its safety initiative.
Yeah, so I don't have the specific numbers from the recent games. However, you're right, there is usually obviously a rise, sadly, whether the teams win or lose. As a policing perspective, we've, for the Euros for example, we've been putting out extra cars on solely to try and tackle the domestic abuse element, and part of that has also been visiting our kind of higher risk people where it's appropriate, and trying to prevent stuff and making sure they're okay essentially. And then your third question was about, in the figures, is parking included? Was that right?
And disputes.
Yeah. So again, so I'm compiled it, I'm not sure. I don't know if it's stuff that's been reported to us in general or if it is solely crimes. Obviously parking wouldn't be a crime, at least not in the criminal sense, as opposed to a civil crime. However, yeah, I wouldn't be able to say if these were or not. But what I can do is I can ask a question, and then I'll get the sergeant to clarify with these numbers if it's general incidents, anything that's reported. I would imagine that it's more related to crimes, so because the amount of stuff we get reported to us is considerable, and some of it is pretty ridiculous. Like someone's had 5 chicken nuggets instead of 6, and they're happy meal or something like that. So I would assume stuff like that isn't included, and it is solely crime. But I will get that clarified for you.
Councillor Webster.
I'd like to ask a question about speeding. I'm aware that the speed camera, which is outside near Croft Tesco, and when I passed it for the past few weeks or months now, it seems to be out of action. And I'm wondering what you could update us on that, if you know anything about that. It seems to me that when you have a camera which serves a useful purpose, which is to stop people from continuing to speed at 40 when the speed limit drops to 30, it appears to have been vandalised and out of action. And I think leaving a facility like that unused, if that is the case, then has a traffic cone on top of it. It leads to a general feeling that speed isn't being enforced. It's good to hear that your team is trained on using the laser handheld devices, and also that the mobile speed camera van visits this area. I must admit, I've never seen them. Now, it could be that I have just never seen them, and they do exist. But there is a serious problem with speeding in our community, and I'm wondering what priority has actually been given to it. I know there's a serious problem with speeding. Just for example, there are many examples on Challenger Way. I've never seen any speed enforcement on Challenger Way. And speeding results in people feeling that they can't walk or cycle in our community, and they can't let their children even walk or cycle to school because of the speeding drivers.
No worries. So I'll answer the speed ban question first. So the speed ban can only go on certain roads that have essentially been risk assessed. For example, if it's going to, because people react in all sorts of strange ways when they see police cars or police. So it has to be on places that's suitable, where it won't likely cause collisions, stuff like that. So you won't see them on every road. So it will be certain key locations that have been looked at where it's suitable and where there is a higher than usual need. So obviously speeding occurs on obviously most roads, so the speed camera ban will go where it's needed. But like everything with police, people will only see it if they're on the exact road at the exact time. The more it's out, obviously the more chance people are going to see it. But the problem is it serves a large area, not just the walk side. But it does appear, and it's just will people see it. As far as handheld laser stuff, because all of our team, obviously all frontline police officers, we respond to 999 and stuff like that. So with us doing speed enforcement, it has to be balanced on what is the highest priority. So to answer your question about speeding, it's something we care about, and something we very much know the community cares about, but we have to balance on what is the priority for that day. So if we spend a day doing speed enforcement, word quickly goes around that we're there, and people on the whole will stop speeding there anyway. And whilst we're doing that, we aren't investigating crime or responding to live jobs. So it's all a balancing act. So how we usually will deal with it is the public let us know where is a specifically problem area outside of the norm. And then we will try and target that. But what we find quite often with speeding is lots of people don't tell us about it outside of very, very small kind of time windows. Many people obviously won't report it to 111 because they would see it's not worth the wait, which is understandable. That's where Let's Talk is a great thing to use for things like speeding. Because if everyone on the road is singing from the same hymn sheet, or everyone on this road, or everyone in this area, and it's the biggest community concern, then obviously it justifies us targeting it more. But when only one person has mentioned speeding on a road, it wouldn't really be justified for us to focus on that, when we could then focus on, live crimes, people carrying knives, domestic abuse, crime waves that we have to investigate, if that makes sense.
Thank you. I understand the nearest police station is over in Taunton. Is that right for us out here?
So obviously my team are based in the Waterside Police Office, which is Hardley Fire Station, but that's not a 24/7 police station. Taunton is 24/7, but outside of kind of usual business hours, if you like, it's only used as a traffic hub. So our response team are based out of Lyndhurst. However, that is they don't really spend much time there because they'll be going out and about all over, if that makes sense. So Taunton is your nearest. I think it's got a front counter as opening as a front counter, but our team is obviously based in the locality, which is not 24/7. But Lyndhurst is.
Most people don't know it's there.
No,
It's shut, so it's almost as though it's not.
Yeah, it doesn't have a front counter.
Can I just say that the triage system seems to me to be too many victims are needed to warrant attention or investigations before anything's done. So it seems to be a bit of a hot topic for me this last week, people asking about the police and what exactly do they do. You know, like I've been asked about various incidents where people said they can't be bothered to ring 101. You know, the Waterside Police Facebook, is that where we're supposed to report speeding or someone that keeps, you know, coming in people's gardens? Where are we supposed to report it, really?
Yeah, so with reporting stuff, if something is serious and a crime is happening right now, then it's 909 and it always has been 909.
Yeah.
If it is not serious and there's no kind of imminent risk, then 101 or the website is a suitable place. So when people call 101, you may have to wait some time, but there's no pressing urgency, and it means 909 as a line is free for people who need it then and there. And with lower level stuff that you don't necessarily want to report as a crime, you want to tell us the general issues in your area, then like I said, Let's Talk is the best thing. I would say, to answer the first point, obviously, we have to prioritise stuff, because if we didn't, we would be spending all of our time dealing with stuff that isn't serious. So whilst we're dealing with very low level stuff, the first person who called us, there would be people who really need us somewhere else not getting a service. So obviously it's a case of prioritisation. However, if many people are saying the same thing, then obviously it goes up in priority, for example. So again, if one person picked up the phone and said someone has sped past my house, they obviously aren't going to have police there. But if everyone says there's always speeding here and it's coming from many people, then obviously we would then focus on that. But I do think
it's more trespassing really, people are getting fed up with.
So trespass is a civil matter, not criminal. However, if they were concerned about the person thinking they were going to break in or something like that, then that is something they should call us on 909 if they think it is a genuine break-in. If it's someone just cutting across someone's garden or something, then obviously that's...
In your opinion, do you think things are getting better for us on the water side, for the police presence, and, you know, that they're realising that we're not picking because we've got no police, hopefully?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I would say in some ways yes, in some ways no. Policing is very much a balancing act. So I'll give you a good example. So when it comes to crimes versus being out on the street, it's probably the best example. People want to see us. People also want crimes investigated. Now, one officer can't do both at the same time. So it's very much subjective, really. If people want more stuff investigated, then we are focusing on more of an investigative thing. So those who are looking at it from that point of view will be getting more what they want. People who don't so much want us investigated, just want to look out the window and see us walking around or something, then I would say no, they're probably seeing us less realistically. But there is no one answer, it's completely what someone wants. Everyone wants a different thing. That's what I would say to that.
I'm going to demonstrate my ignorance here. I've never heard of Let's Talk. So
Yeah,
if you could tell me what Let's Talk is,
yeah.
As councillors perhaps we can promote that to our residents and how we'll access that system.
Yeah, that would be great. We would love you to promote it, because the more people who use it, the more beneficial it is. So essentially, Let's Talk, known as Hampshire Alert, is basically something you can sign up to, and it allows you to answer a handful of questions that essentially allow you to tell us what the general issues are in your area. So it isn't a way to report a specific crime that you want us to deal with. It's to report those general issues that are causing an issue. So good examples are ASB, speeding. For example, if someone lives opposite a pub and there's always fights, they could get pub fights, for example. And then that data gets collected, it goes into a mind map, and it essentially will show us per area what the key kind of issue is. So it's available as an app or it's available on our website. We often share the link on our Facebook page. And then people can also choose if they want to sign up to kind of receive kind of like almost like a newsletter from us. So if you put in there that speeding is a big thing that kind of affects you, then we can put out updates specifically to you and other people who have the same issue. So you kind of get tailored news to what affects you, if that makes sense.
That's another question.
Yeah, of course.
It's not your remit, this, but anecdotally, what I find is there's a lot more people on these electric scooters, and a lot of them are on pavements, and it's a potential hazard. Is it within your powers to do anything, or is that just down to traffic?
Yeah, so it's within our powers to season. So essentially, an e-scooter, because of when the Road Traffic Act was created, obviously the Road Traffic Act was around before e-scooters. So by law, as a technicality, e-scooters are classed as a motor vehicle because they are solely propelled by mechanics, as opposed to like an e-bike where it might be mechanically assisted, if that makes sense. So that means to ride one legally outside of schemes like the ones they have in Southampton, you need things like insurance, tax, that kind of stuff. Same thing you would need with a car. So we can season, and we do frequently season, but again, to a balancing act, you won't always see us season e-scooter, because we then have to wait for recovery and stuff like that. It can take up a significant amount of time. So I think with most people, it would be on a case of how is it being ridden and what else do we have to do on that day. So for example, there's a big difference from someone kind of riding it likely with a bike, like a reasonable person, versus someone who's tearing around on it, causing absolute mayhem. Then we'd very much be trying to have their e-speed off them. Thank you. No worries, thank you.
That's really appreciated.
No problem at all.
I take it you probably need somewhere else to be.
Yes, yeah. Thank you very much. Well, no worries, thank you for having me as well. Thank you. Pauline, I know you have a question. If you wish to, and you can spare it, I'm happy for you to ask it.
Thank you so much, sir.
No worries at all. No worries.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Cheers.
Okay, return to the agenda, the ACSOs, you've all seen the report, so we'll take that as read. Item 5 minutes, to approve the council minutes of the meeting held on the 22nd of May 2024 and the extraordinary meeting of the council held on the 19th of June 2024. Okay. Everyone happy with page 1? Page 2? Page 3? Page 4? Page 5? If you're happy,
Propose.
1 second. Or
Councillor Newton is giving her apologies, she's still stuck on the island.
second, the minutes of the extraordinary meeting. Everyone happy with those?
Happy to propose.
Second. Good to go? Item 6, Chairman's announcements. Firstly, a thank you to everyone involved in the commemoration of the D-Day on the 6th of June in the parish. It was a remarkable event, attended by quite a few of us, quite a few of locals. Thank you also to those who made the arrangements for the Rockford Pier. It's a shame the weather could have been a bit brighter, but a good day's entertainment nonetheless. Thank you also to those who promoted and responded to the health costs questionnaire. That's being taken forward. Future dates to note. For now, our July the 27th 2 events, Dipped in Pearl's 120th Horticulture and Craft Show, and the Pirate Day in Hyde. St Andrew's Church will come alive with vibrant activity as it celebrates the 120th anniversary. I have not got an entry, I should find one. Commencing at 1 p.m, the event promises an afternoon brewing with community spirit and the much awaited trophy telling news at 3:30. Over 50p to enter, and do make a big cup of tea. Hyde's Delights Pirate Day, I think it's just around the corner, and they probably can't wait to see you. They've got an epic day with exciting treasure hunts, delicious food, and plenty of pirate-themed fun. Whether you're a seasoned buccaneer or new to pirate life, there's something for everyone. And please come in your best pirate attire, so there's going to be a bit of a parade. August the 4th has got the raft race. August 24th is the Heritage Day Hyde Pier Heritage Association, and September the 14th is the Hyde Activity and Community Spirit Awards. The nominations for that still remain open until 24th of August. So I know some of you have put forward people, but if you also know people who also think of others, please can you let them know how they can nominate. The Handy Trust summer schedule is now live. It's got July to August to be found on the parish website and their own website. And finally, the Shore Road play area has been reopened following refurbishment, thanks to the officers and the amenities committee for the hard work in getting this approved and open ready for the summer. Reports by county and district members. So, Councillor Wade.
Thank you, Chairman. Since the last council meeting, the general election has influenced a lot of council actions, with all the select committees reviewing the cuts being delayed until September. So it did not influence the action outcome. As I reported last time, Councillor Evans King replaced Councillor Humby as leader of the council, and previously they have now disappeared from the scene. I attended Children and People Select Committee in June, where every item was promoted with no decision made at all. I also attended a briefing where I was told the price of preschool meals is going up by 20p a meal, but that information was confidential until after the election. In retrospect, I don't think that will make any difference to the outcome. Anyway, I attended the corporate parenting board after the election, where we dealt with, amongst other things, annual care leavers report, the annual report, the activity of care leavers surveys from January 23 to March 24. The annual virtual school report provides an overview of the virtual school's work and focus during the academic year 22-23. The Joint Housing Protocol for 18 plus carers received a report from the Director of Children's Services providing an overview of the Joint Housing Protocol for 18 plus carers. All in all, the challenges to help children in care grow up with their normal adult life are significant, and there's much more we can do to achieve that. Last week in July, the council meeting, we debated the amendments to minimum waste plans. Did not affect our although I spoke against the establishment of a quarry emission farm near Warshall on behalf of members. Of more interest locally is this section from the end of your financial report, and this is direct quote. Phase 1 of the A326 Crawley Waterside junction improvement has been delivered by Hampshire County Council, primarily funded by the Solar Connect, now known as the Solar Partners. Phase 2 proposals for further junction improvements on the corridor. However, the requirement for Phase 2 improvements is predicted upon future development. There is no funding agreement currently in place for Hampshire County Council to deliver this phase of the project. Approval to reduce the scheme for the A326 Crawley Waterside scheme by 5.6 million from 11.4 million to 5.8 million in the capital programme is requested. This is accepted as a recommendation to Cabinet. Finally, the new government and the conception of devolution of power to local authorities has once again risen to the surface, which in thought is a good thing. The reality of that, with the county once again taking the lead as the main authority, is something we in the districts have to look carefully. And as an addendum to this, Hampshire County Council was rated by Ofsted again to the Hampshire County Council Children's Services was rated by Ofsted again to be outstanding. One of probably only 2 councils in the country to do that. Certainly not many to get it right.
Thank you. I contacted Councillor McAvoy, she's not taking it out at present. Can I go round this time for district members. Councillor Dowd.
Thank you.
Councillor Cohen. Councillor Dowd.
Yes, on the 18th of June, Councillor Cullen and I attended a district-wide tour of housing, looking at various housing projects. Included in the tour were the recently completed houses at Lady Cross and the Memorial Hospital site, where the project will begin in August. The purpose was to look at different solutions and newer building standards employed. Thank you.
You asked if you like to do that one.
No, it's right, we'll go round. We'll go round.
Okay. Right, since the last meeting we've had a similar situation in the county, with little or no business due to the election. At the last Thursday we had in place a sustainability panel, where the main item on the agenda was the Christchurch Bay and Harbour Flood and Coastal Erosion Risk Management SCERN strategy. Although there has been this necessary project of NFDC, it requires outside funding. There's a plan in place should they get it. This allowed me to raise the issue of no strategy in place for the east of the district. And part of which is, and we know it's prone to flooding, as most of the members on the panel are from the water side, which did help the argument. This point was well received. I raised it again with the meeting with Kate Bryan, asking NFDC to actively encourage the environment agency to work on this. I also raised the need for more still money to be released for local projects, with the cabinet member who was somewhat uncommitted, no surprise there. I also raised with the chief exec, as NFDC is going to get another 15 million extra still money by the end of the decade, more existing than will be installed in the management spent on projects for local people. NFDC's transformation project is moving at pace and goes to the panel tomorrow, Thursday, to explore the design.
Thank you. Councillor Bell.
We obviously with the previous full council meeting there were other questions that were basically in there. It wasn't so much that, it was just that 3 days after that was the announcement that the Fawley Waterside vote had been cancelled. Now clearly they knew at the time during the meeting, so we were able to answer questions. So I hope we can return to that in September and get beyond the rather emailed statement that the administration put out as to what's going on behind it, because it is extremely, as Councillor Wade has just said, vital in this area, and lots of meetings predicated on it, so that will be a project for us, I think, as the opposition group.
Councillor Wade.
On Monday, July the 8th, I attended full council. Again, genuine minimal due to the impact of the election, with much business pushed post July 4th. I asked 2 questions. One is the portfolio holder responsible for trees, concerned about the impact on the new trees contract and the parish and town council budget. It was suggested to me parish and town councils could look elsewhere for tree maintenance support, knowing all too well that using NFDC as a contractor does provide risk mitigation and insurance for us smaller councils. Proposed possible rise of 30k on our budget is quite astronomical for us, and as my follow-up question on partnership working, I was given no reassurance, especially following the huge rise in charges for NFDC collecting rubbish from our fellow town and parish councils around the community. I did also ask the leader in lieu of the council's 50th anniversary celebration, but was given a somewhat pointless response about a statue of 50 Blacks video, trying to highlight how they can better engage the community on what is the flagship meeting. It lasted 30 minutes, by the way. In response to inviting schools and colleges for engagement stage, which the council previously did, she said she would look into this and respond back to me. Full council is the only time when 48 turn up. They only meet about 7-8 times a year, and really the meeting should last longer and be more engaging like other councils nearby. Residents have been asked to give their views on NFDC's new Gambling Act policy draft, which covers the granting of licensing, permits and registrations issued under the Gambling Act 2005. The closing date for comments is Sunday, September the 15th, and the consultation will be on NFDC's website and social media. 81% NFDC housing tenants are satisfied with NFDC as a landlord, according to the results from the tenant survey. Overall scores are encouraging, but only 29% were satisfied with the council's response to complaints, and only 62% with response to ASB. These are areas of concern, and any scores under 75% NFDC will wish to improve. Planning. There remains an outstanding planning appeal on the site of 12 and 14 Langdown Lawn for 5 new homes, which the parish council, residents and myself have objected to. No decision has been made as of yet. And I have also written to NFD's will be writing to NFDC's Housing Development and Strategy Officers with regards to the police station following reports I've seen on Rightmove. Maintenance updates. NFDC will be working on fixing the bridge which goes over the stream from the Langdam to the Navy Field as part of their asset management programme. And obviously, as Dr. Dow will be aware, I've also been engaging with the company responsible for maintenance of the seaboard by Waitrose. My panel is Resources and Transformation, which has a huge agenda that meets tomorrow, so nothing to report. There will be a customer strategy, transformation business case, performance management framework, and an ICT programme. I think I'll probably call that next time. I'll also be replying to the relevant officers following a report on community grants, which is ensured panel housing communications over the impact on parish and town councils possibly not being able to bid for revenue or capital grants, and if and how they'll explore council engagement grants moving forward. And lastly, casework or wide array of issues.
Thank you. Councillor Osborne.
I too attended the Places and Sustainability, but Councillor McAvoy explained fully that we were very strongly pointing out that the needs as much attention as the West, and asking, for help with the flooding and all the things that go on this side of the water. As district councillors, we were asked to form a meeting with the traders of Gympton just to talk about the aftermath of the roadworks that we did on Friday the 19th, and the church kindly donated a room for us to use, so that was good. And the response was okay, wasn't it really? Hot Friday night, people came and they all seemed keen to do something. The chairman and the council will support that when it comes. What else do I do? Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Cullen.
Well, my clean plan of going last seems to have worked because everyone else is covered. So the only other thing there, some years the council attended and I did was the presentation by Stock and Water. Thank you.
Item 8, reports from members serving on outside bodies to receive brief verbal updates from parish councillors who serve as representatives on outside bodies. Councillor Dowd.
Thank you. On the 13th of June, the Waterside Climate Action Network met to discuss progress with community energy project plans and a repair cafe venue, either activity and community compost. On the 15th of June, the Waterside Climate Action Group had a talk given by 3 of the 4-man team from Southern Water who engaged with the public. The talk was all about how we deal with issues with wrong things put down the waste. For example, things that go into the toilet and things that go down the sink cause issues in the network and things that we can do to prevent that. That was a very interesting talk, and there were very good questions on that. On the 20th of June, the tourism group met at the library, and we discussed events which had been raised earlier in the summer, for example, the Pirate Day and Hive in Bloom. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Cullen.
Councillor Harrison, Councillor Delamere and myself sit on Waterside Community Fund. In the past month, the Waterside Community Fund has made a total of £2,214.95 hence donations. £440.95 of that was to 2 applications in Forley, and £1,774 was to 3 applications in our area. If I can just encourage councillors, if you know of organisations or people who could make use of the community fund, please promote it. Thank you. Ali.
Any more? Thank you. Item 9 was the public forum. I understand there's no question.
No written question, but we have 2 elected to address the meeting.
First, Mr. Coleman, if you'd like to
Stand?
Stand if you wish.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
There's a microphone over there if you like.
But as long as you can hear me, I'm fine. Is that okay? My comments relate to your agenda item 11, which is amendment of the motorway play area closing times. You heard my name is Mike Coleman. I live in Ranford Gardens and I've lived there for 44 years. The boundary of my property runs parallel to and about 20 feet away from the tennis courts at the east end of the play area. The play area is a very special place. It offers lovely facilities. It's in a quiet, secure location, fully enclosed by residential properties. Unfortunately, these very features attract those in society who are inclined to vandalism and antisocial behaviour. And over the years, the play area and its neighbouring residents have suffered for their fair share of such behaviour, particularly through the evening periods and into the night. I've already circulated comments to the council, detail my own views, that detail the worst of the vandalism and the antisocial behaviour that I've experienced in the play area. And since I believe extending the opening times would give rise to more of such problems, I'm very much against amending the current times, the current closing times. For your considerations under Agenda Item 11, there are two particular events that are worth emphasising. Firstly, during 2002-2003, after consultation with local residents, the council installed fencing and gates at the two entrances to the play area and locked them at night for periods that remain in place today. The immediate effect was fantastic. Users could turn up expecting the play area to be clean and safe, with the equipment in good working order. Local neighbours were able to enjoy peaceful evenings in their adjoining homes and gardens, and the council no longer faced costs arising from vandalism or antisocial behaviour, a win-win situation for all concerned. Then in 2007, for whatever reason, the council's amenities committee decided to extend the opening time for a trial period over the summer. Much of today I objected to this proposal. During the first week, maybe even on the first day of extending the opening, vandals tore up and set fire to the rubberised flooring around the play equipment area. Fortunately, the council immediately responded and sensibly reinstated the original closing times, and it's remained so ever since. Reflecting on the points I've raised, I'd ask the councillors to look at the matters listed in the monthly council briefing that was attached to my copy of the agenda, and I think you'll all have copies of that. You'll see there are 14 items identified in that briefing. 7 of them involve vandalism, 1 antisocial behaviour, 4 fires, 1 theft, and 1 repeatedly loose and barking dog. Ignoring the dog, your council's own reports show that vandalism and antisocial behaviour are frequent and common in the area, a point that's already been raised by PC Grimley tonight. Fortunately, the motorway play area is not listed as a location for any of these items. I want it to stay offset to this, and to that end requested that council do not amend the current closing time. If you could bear with me for one more moment, I had a further matter to raise. After a very brief conversation, with a local tennis club, I believe they proposed that the tennis courts be subjected to booking fees, and that they also considered offering to undertake the security arrangements and gate locking if the closing times are extended. I'm totally against both of those proposals. The courts have been free to anyone to turn up and play, and have operated successfully as such for 30 years or more. If a booking system were introduced, the club could swamp the bookings and effectively turn it into a club facility. Furthermore, allocating security and key holding to the club would reinforce this position, as well as raising multiple concerns regarding adequate security training and council responsibilities. Nodsway Play Area is not a sports centre, it's not even a full recreation ground, it's a play area. In my view, it should remain as such, available for anyone to turn up and play within the existing opening times. Thanks very much for your attention to my concerns.
Thank you, Mr. Coleman. Mrs. Smith, would you like to
I'm slightly off piece for a while. Thank the council for their efforts to revitalise Digdon Hurley. I only hope, Chairman, that it's not further dampened by the 10 weeks of roadworks we are promised in North Road for essential gas works starting on the 29th of July. You could not make it up, could you? Thank you. On to happier things. Although the Twinning Association in Hyde is no longer viable, we received a pressing invitation to visit Meaux sur Loire, our twin town, to celebrate the occasion of the 30th anniversary of the signing of the official agreement in 1994. 10 of us originally planned to travel, but COVID and surgical emergencies intervened, leaving just 4 of us to fly the flag. I'm extremely grateful to our driver, who I shall not name for fear of embarrassing him. Suffice to say, we rolled into the car park in Meaux at 11:59 for a midday rendezvous, driven from the ferry port. The welcome was as warm and cordial as ever, with a full programme of events, formal and informal. We were welcomed at a proper pub on the Friday night. They had a thing for Peaky Blinders there. Me neither. And we were introduced to the current mayor. Saturday morning there was a big parade, complete with an Olympic flame made of orange tissue paper and bacon foil. It was, they've got no truck with Paris in Brittany, I have to say. And lots of market stalls. It was built into our Hive of Activity event. And in the afternoon there was an official opening of the new Place de l'Église. Speeches from the mayor, numerous local dignitaries from Nantes. It did go on a bit, and a ribbon officially cut into many small pieces by as many small children as they could find and trust with a pair of scissors, it appeared. And at that point I was called to respond to a welcome from the mayor, and I passed him at that point the gifts which the immediate past chairman of this council had sent over in recognition of the event. In return, Chairman, I was given this rather tasteful piece of timber, which I'm pleased to leave with you now. I didn't like it on that mantelpiece, I don't know.
Thank you.
But anyway, that comes with cordial warm wishes from the Mayor and Corporation in Meaux, as you might say.
Was it one?
No trace of wine. Unfortunately, we drank it all. On Sunday there was a boat trip along the Loire, lunch at the golf club, and the golf club was on an island, and you had to drive across 2 bridges to get to the island for lunch, 1 car at a time, because the bridges are in desperate need of repair apparently. We visited a sculpture path where the artist makes sculptures out of trash cylinders, old gas cylinders and brake pads, I'm told, and bits of internal combustion engines. Quite amazing. I've got photographs I can bore you with. There are fire-breathing dragons, bullfighters, dinosaurs, and we are grateful for the continuing interest from the council and for your indulgence, Chairman, in letting me tell you about our adventure here tonight. We hope that the football club in Hyde will be encouraged to take part in their international football tournament, which takes place, it was this April, so it will be April 2026, but they will be planning for it as from this autumn, so they need encouragement to start thinking about it, if you could. And that it will be a younger cohort and that it will encourage the links to grow again, because the organisation in Meaux is really still quite vital. And they'd love to see anybody who'd like to go. I can give you contact. If if you're passing. If they know you've been within 100 miles and haven't visited, they'd be deeply, deeply offended. Thanks, Chairman.
Thank you. I don't know what to say, so I was pretty close last year. Professor Boyd, you're both residents. Did you want to say anything whilst you're here?
No, I'm observing. That's per usual, that's what I do, basically. Yeah. Observing.
Item 10, questions. Councillors take 3 questions from councillors. Councillor Wade.
Is Tim aware that this council has, with the extended engaging with NFPC or trying to engage with them, the responsibility for the promenade and the faulty return of that flat, which there has been the cause of flooding in the centre of Hyde. Well, armed with that information, I kept my promise, and I wrote to the district council, and just to rub it in, I raised it in the place of sustainability to the director, James Carpenter, who in public had said, yes, I'll get back to you on it. I haven't had a response yet, but I will be pursuing that because I said it's their responsibility. Yeah.
Thank you.
I've got 2, and one for Councillor Malcolm Wade. My first one is the chairman aware that thanks to members of the Twickenham Association, I was able to write a letter in French to the Mayor of Maris-Leroy, and not just trust his word translate, but thank you for the Twickenham Association made sure that my French was passable, as you know, it has been many, many years since I studied that. So thank you to all of you for that, thank you. My question to Councillor Malcolm Wade is, when will it publicly be known what the plans, response to the consultation will be, and where the cuts are going to effectively be going ahead of those individual committee meetings that the council are going to have? Is that going to be public before the committee meetings or after the committee meetings?
What would happen is the select committees, which were due to meet in June before the Deputy Prime Minister decided to call a snap election, will take place in September. These select committees will then be making recommendations to the next cabinet meeting, and then they will make it to the next council meeting, and they will be voted.
And what stage is that go public? What stage?
The detail of the select committee will be public domain when those agendas are published, which will be a week before the meetings, probably late August, probably early September.
Thank you, Reverend.
Councillor Osborne. I've got 2 questions really. One, Chairman, are you aware, I know you are, there's a seagull problem on our seafront for people that are trying to use our food outlets and then being robbed blatantly by a mass of seagulls. The other thing is, we've actually got a more expert just joined us tonight on this, but we've noticed a lot of cycle pathway signs going where there is definitely no cycle way.
Thank you. Okay.
Councillor White in due course, or on the other members.
Thank you. And on the seagull, yes, we recommended she didn't chuck the chips at the seagulls.
What are you speaking to me about? I didn't catch that.
Cycleway signage.
Signage?
Cycleway signage.
Which ones?
Lots where there aren't cycle paths.
Well, just let me know which ones they are.
Sure.
I can't be able to it.
Has anybody got any further questions?
Am I that question?
No, sorry, that was the opportunity Councillor President. Thank you very much. Thank you both.
Polly, what's that step, please, as you go out? There's a trip hazard.
That one basically, I know how to put that on my face, but you have a nice
day,
yeah?
Alright, well, thank you very much.
Lovely, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, item 11, Roseway Open Space. The item is to consider a request to amend the current closing time for the open space. I am going to open this up to the floor. Please put your hands up if you wish to talk. May I remind members there is no further budget to amend this item this year. Councillor Oakford.
Thank you. My interest in this extends from a few weeks ago when I was in the Noseway Park at about 6:15 in the evening, and there was a lady playing there with her 2 young children. The security guard turned up, and he went up to the lady, and he asked her to leave. The children were very disappointed. They were enjoying tennis, or watching them enjoying tennis, and then they went over to the play area, and they were on the swing slides and roundabouts. And she asked the security guard, he was very apologetic, but he said that that's what he was paid to do, was to lock up the park. And he did so, and he ushered them out. There were 3 more hours of daylight when they were ordered out of the park. I spoke to the security guard on a subsequent occasion, after when he turned off the closing time, and I asked him what incidents he had experienced. He told me that incidents were extremely rare, and the incidents that he detailed were all involved people who were remonstrating with him, actually adults, about being kicked out of the park, as he put it. I'd like to thank Mike Coleman for coming along and addressing the council tonight. I believe Mike Coleman lives in a property that's closest to the actual park. I understand I've not had the chance to read it properly. I understand Mr. Malcolm too, who lives very close to the courts as well, has also been there. I'd just like to raise one point, because you heard a statement tonight from Mr. Coleman that a tennis club is wanting to use the courts. And I see, I haven't had a chance to read the property, but Alex has kindly shown me this email. Mr. Toot thinking that the sweep, which I organised, was suggesting it was organised by Waterside Tennis Club because they want to use the courts. Now, that's factually incorrect. And it's a great shame that a false rumour has been circulated within the Noseway community. I'm a member of the Waterside Tennis Club that absolutely no interest in using the courts there. There's not enough use of our own courts down in Holborn by members there, but unfortunately those courts can only be used by members, and young people cannot use them, and there's no pay and play there. My interest in the Noseway tennis courts, which is a slightly separate issue to the opening hours, is that I think, yes, it's fantastic that they're free, and yes, there should be an opportunity for young people to turn up whenever and play tennis. That's how I started playing tennis when I was 10, when I was allowed into courts that had been locked up. I'd like to thank Marcus and Lee very much for painting lines on the courts, replacing the net. The courts are now much more playable, but they do need resurfacing. That's actually only a side issue in this debate. This debate is actually about opening the park, opening a public open space to the public. At the moment, the public is being locked out of a public open space. We heard tonight that this is at 6 o'clock throughout the summer. You heard tonight that there was I didn't actually know this, but in 2007 there was an experiment with opening it that was swiftly cancelled. And since then it is closed at 6 o'clock. The antisocial behaviour which is being presented to you as evidence of evening antisocial behaviour predates 2007. Predates, well, is from 2007 and further back. To penalise the 99% of the public who would like to use Noseway Park because of the less than 1% of people who might commit antisocial behaviour by locking it up and locking everyone out seems wrong. The perpetrators of that 2007 incident, by the way, would now be in their late 20s or 30s even, so we should not be We should not be punishing today's young people because of the sins of the fathers. I think that obviously antisocial behaviour does need to be dealt with. We have access who can respond to incidents, and I think that this public open space should be more available to the public. The government, there is actually, under the Environment Act, there is actually a target of giving people access to green space. Now, you might say, we live next to a huge open space, which is the New Forest National Park. Well, we're actually separated from that by the A326, with only one control crossing in our area across to it. We have a beautiful park in an area where there will actually be a lot more families moving in because of the Orchard Gate development. They will have small gardens, unlike the residents of Noseway, Button, several residents of Noseway, Button to the Noseway Park.
Right. Councillor Webster, can I ask you to draw it to a close?
Yeah, sure. So what I would like to see is the opening hours extended, and I would also like to see the park facilities improved, and that would encourage more people to be there in the park, and that would encourage people, the presence of more people in the park. For instance, if you have a tank court, or if you upgraded the tennis courts, the presence of more people would itself act as a deterrent to people to commit antisocial behaviour. I don't think we should just assume that we have to lock things up, because to deal with antisocial behaviour we should find other ways of dealing with it.
Councillor Wade.
I just want to I'm going to probably challenge a few things that Councillor Webster has raised, basically because when I was chair of the council I was made aware of probably a lot more of what impacted some of the more accessible open spaces than I would have been if I wasn't chair. The challenge we have is, and I am from someone who uses Noseway play area far more since I've had Charles than I would do, and I tend to go there and my son has used a tennis court. We literally use this brilliant open space to just play football. So we don't use any of the other additional facilities. And one of the best things about Noseway is that I actually see people bring their own football goals, they play, they leave about 5:30, and it's people spread out and use the facility. They come and go from the tennis court. I've never seen an argument. People leave, age groups. It's a wonderful facility. I don't see a huge amount of people by the time I've left, about 5:30. And it is well maintained, and certain age groups I see might hang out there beyond the time 6, move on and go somewhere else. Since the point about referring back to 2007 is a fair one, but we're aware there were issues in and around Hainesway more recently, and there was residents' meetings around 2020, 2021, I believe, with some Purley councillors, and there have been concerns about people meeting up there, particularly in that area. Unfortunately, antisocial behaviour, a very minority, that's absolutely the case. In fact, we know there's often very small numbers that contribute, but have targeted Jones Lane play area. They targeted Forest Front. They targeted Cosworth Drive. And it is the absolute minority, but this council has a very limited budget when it comes to replacing these items. Only so many insurance claims we can make and replacements we can do. It's not necessarily that I'm thrilled with the route this council might go on. It's just the cost of this council to endlessly replace and refurbish from a very tiny minority of selfish individuals who feel the need to damage our play area. It's going to impact us. I would also advocate that when we talk about security, it's not a Noseway sole discussion. He also removes the zip wire from Jones Lane, and he does it at the same time. So any decision this council makes has to be consistent with that. And part of the long-standing issues with Jones Lane, for the residents who again surround that area, was that drew people in late at night, and it by removing it at 6 from the age groups that should use it, it has reduced the impact there and improved our relations, because we haven't always had good relations with the families who live around there. So those are probably just some points to raise, and I welcome the clarification on the tennis courts. My view is, if it doesn't come to the communities panel, then it's not happening, is it? It's not a council decision. There's nothing official since council, but unfortunately, sometimes the rumour mill can get away with itself.
Thank you.
Yes. I would say that as an area we are blessed with a number of open spaces, most of which are open all the time. There is only a short journey from one to another. The open space behind the Fairview shops used to have play equipment there. That was badly damaged by people who went in there and did willful damage there. I think it's good that you've got one play area where parents can take young children and know it's in a fit state for them to be able to use it. They can be assured that they're going to be able to enjoy that space. We have a number of incidents with our open play areas and the damage done there. I recently found out today that one of the water parks in Tottenham had just been refurbished. The day after it had been refurbished, it was vandalised. And I'm afraid we do have to look at cost. That is a factor we have to be aware of as councillors. We've got to make sure we are making sustainable decisions. And I think we have to make balanced decisions, including cost, as well as amenity value for the community. But given that we have such an array of open spaces, I don't think it's out of the question to have one that is locked so that we know it's safe for young children to be able to use. Thank you.
Sean and Marcus, can you confirm, was it when we first did start locking up, was it 2007 when we first? No, before that. It was before that. Because at that time, there used to be 100, 150 used stand there, weren't there? Do you remember?
Before we locked it, we had a maintenance team in there for an extended period of the day cleaning up broken glass, damaged equipment. It was constant. So members listened to the residents and said, look, save us bills on ASB, it'll stop the stress to the residents, let's secure this play area. And to be fair, those ways is probably one of our best areas now, isn't it? Showing less litter and no damage. So, look, from our point of view, it's better being locked up. There's got that sort of school route there, a lot of parents use that first thing in the morning. We are 100% sure that that's safe.
Because we found in our area here, every year the young people, sort of younger teenagers, find a place which is the gathering place. This is the marina sometimes, it's the Army and Navy, or it was in those days.
Was?
No, it's very good. Massive.
We just had issues with Thames Way, which reoccur every couple of years. We've only just managed to put back to there in that same area.
Councillor Wade.
Thank you, Chairman. Just a really say tribute to Councillor Webster for the clean-up job they did on the tennis court. When I first heard this idea, I thought, wow, yeah, what harm could it do? I thought, open it up a couple of hours. Then I did what I often do, is reflect back. And I remember the situation when we had it, because I was here. And there's some of the things that took place. And now you think, right, that as I mentioned to the policeman at the beginning, antisocial behaviour, actually I've heard it from different sources before, is on the increase. Antisocial behaviour is on the increase. Crime is on the increase. The thing about Nodes Way, and there's another aspect to this Nodes mentioned, this is quite unique because it is so enclosed. Some of the things that went on from drugs, fights, drinking, and vandalism, because no one can see it, even though there's houses around it, unless they're actually digging over the top of it, then no one's going to see what goes on. especially when it's dark. And there was obviously situations of people trying to break into people's gardens from problem. So, you know, it was a horrendous particular time in those days. But antisocial behaviour has come back, and it's cyclic. Just that every generation produces a crowd that do not want to go, young people that want to do hang out and do this. And about 99% of them, they just make a bit of noise and go. But there are a percentage in them that are involved in actions and activities that are at best inappropriate, at worst totally illegal. Now, I sit on children's services on the county council, and because of that fact, I get to see the outcome of young people that get drawn into activities that are not in their best interest. Now, we know as a duty of care that we want to protect our young people as much as we can. And the problem with Mount Way, and it is the fundamental issue, if it was open play area, it wouldn't be so bad, because there's nothing that can be done that's hidden, but there's so many parts of it that are hidden that things can be done. Letting young kids in there while someone else is trying to push something, as they say, in inappropriate nature, is actually putting them at harm's way and risk. And that to me is something that doesn't happen over there because they're wide open spaces. It can't happen, but it can happen in that way. Because, you know, you go down, if you think about it, to entries from those way, you go down a narrow corridor, right? And then you open out to the field. And you can't see from those way what goes on in there. Haynes Way was a real pain from a number of Councillor Osborne will say we're having meetings about that because the young people who were gathering a little bit of grass outside it and cause more problems. So yeah, it's really difficult because I actually would like to open it longer, but I recognise the problems we will get if we do, and it's a balance, you know, and you've got sometimes. If antisocial behaviour wasn't on the increase, or I know we didn't have more problems, I think, well, let's give it a go. But because we're in a situation where antisocial behaviour has increased, and it's an ideal site for people to go and do things where they're hidden from someone else, really it's asking for trouble. So after much soul searching, because I didn't want to do it the other way, I think I've come down on the let's keep it closed view. For the simple those reasons, because we have a responsibility and duty of care for our young. They don't want to get involved in transition.
Thank you. Councillor Osborne.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, well, I think we just thank you to Megan's team for the work you've done and finding, you know, that the posts were rotten and replacing them. And apparently today I heard from someone that's got quite a high authority in tennis to say the lines are straight after all the, you know, the rumours that were going around, just so you know. Yeah, I'm like Malcolm. When this first came up, we felt, you know, we've got children, we've got grandchildren. Yeah, oh, wouldn't it be nice? But I also listen when, like Alex said, he hears the real truth of what's going on. Maybe more people need to know what's going on, because I've been over when something's happened and Marcus has said, go and have a look. And it literally, you know, I've been over at lunchtime, you see them all doing their homework and putting their rubbish in the bin, it's all lovely and peaceful. And then the next day, just someone else that's not that type of person, just took the bins and chucked the rubbish blatantly all over the field. That's the sort of things our maintenance team has to put up with, and never moan or report to us, do you? And worse. So I'm in two minds. While we haven't really got a grip on antisocial behaviour, then that's the reason why I wouldn't want to see it open anymore. And as Councillor Dowd said, it is lovely. You know, I've got a very young grandchild. You can go over there, and it's you know, a safe and an area where there's no mess or dogs running up to you as well. So it is a nice place to have in the middle of a built-up area. Thank you.
Councillor Wade, anything else?
Yes, please. Yeah. Yes. Yes. So I hear what you say. all the comments about antisocial behaviour are based on an assumption that there would be antisocial behaviour there. You don't know that, and actually, if there is, there's other ways of dealing with it too. You have axos that could respond. The antisocial behaviour can happen at any time, and the incidents you're talking about presumably happened when the bin was streaming across the park. Presumably happened when the park was open. By the logical conclusion of that, just lock the park up all the time. Why not exclude the public? In the whole time, you certainly would not get any complaints from residents then, and you wouldn't have any damage to the park or risk of it. But you also wouldn't have use, you wouldn't have enjoyment of the park. Now, I think that just assuming that young people will behave badly is not a good starting place. We cannot open this, and we cannot allow the 99% of people who would be respectful of it to enjoy a public open space just because of the risk, the possibility that somebody might, there might be incidents of antisocial behaviour. I think that, I would like to know, by the way, and I have asked, not as a councillor, what the cost is of locking it up, which is, I was told, was £18,000, and that included the zip wire locking in the recreation ground, and it also includes some key holding costs. We're talking about quite a considerable sum of public money is going into locking up this park. Now, you may decide, no, we do need to still lock it up, and we do still need to spend that money on that. But I think there is clearly a case for, in the height of summer, 6 p.m. is very early. This meeting didn't even start till 7 p.m. It's still light outside now. At the time this meeting started, the park had been closed for an hour. The public had been locked out of public open space for an hour. So I was encouraging to give a chance to the young people and the law-abiding people of this community.
Thank you. Councillor Wade, have you got anything else you wanted to add because you put your hands up?
No, just simply that Malcolm made it the point where it's an ASD syllable, and so you do have to try and compare it to existing issues and existing areas, not historical, because there are different groups of individuals that we're going to be caring. We don't compare to the young people in 2000 to 2007, but unfortunately, and we know because they have moved around the area of the community, there's a tiny, tiny portion that contribute. And my concern, when I've been to Noseway Park, I normally go once a weekend, my son to play football, is that it's busy with, I would say, children, predominantly children under 14. They play football, they bring their big goal, they leave, some people on the tennis court, and it gets a lot quieter, sort of around sort of 5:30 when I've been there. And it is a really valued and well-used open space. But it's predominantly by younger kids who have the freedom, sort of early year 7 and 8, who can go in with confidence and have an area where they can play football and not feel frightened by other ages. And it is really good to say they're there for at least a couple of hours. My concern with this is, and beyond what I've already mentioned, is what the alternative would be if the security company would not support this. That's the point I had made, because if we didn't use them, what is the alternative? It's not ideal to spend this money. If we didn't spend this money, then it's the best possible deal, I'm told, when we've had budget discussions. And secondly, we can't rely on other areas of the council. This is a contract that relies on someone pretty much most days of the year going in and closing it at a set time. And there's other concerns I have about if it went on officers, if it went on HSOs, there'd be a lot of dates and times that it simply wouldn't open. I remember a complaint on Christmas Day it opened, imagine that had more dates and times. So I have concerns about an alternative provision because it's not the best, but I've been told when we've come through budget discussions, this is the best option.
Thank you. Councillor Cohen.
First of all, can I just remind everyone of the Chair's opening statement The bottom line is, it's a fait accompli. We've got no money in this budget at the moment to alter the opening times. So this is a useful discussion as a preamble to the next budget meeting, but at the moment, nothing can change.
Thank you. Okay. So I'm going to ask, does any member a proposal? And if you'd like to propose it, if not, generally speaking, I've got a proposal. So does anybody else want to propose something about the opening? My proposal would be that we ask the officers to investigate the costs associated to extending the opening hours for next year's summer and give a report back to us that we can discuss at the budget meeting at that point. Who agrees? Sorry. Those against? Any abstentions?
Okay, we'll prepare a report as quickly as possible, but it won't be for next week's committee, it will be the one after. And then we'll give you the costs and the issues as we see it, and then we should discuss the things with the ministers committee.
Thank you. Okay, item 12 on the agenda. To receive and agree the schedule of insurance 2024-2025 that was in the pack that you were provided with.
Yes, as all the department members, you need to be aware of what the council insures, for what figure, and what the premium is. So, those are the members' questions.
Anybody got any questions?
No. No.
Just need members to agree. Yeah, please.
Okay. Can I ask members if you agree to the insurance schedule and the costings?
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 13, Finance 2023-2024. Item A, to receive the bank reconciliation for June 2024. That was in your pack.
This is just the notice, isn't it?
Just the notice. B, to approve the paid expenditure for June 2024. So I need someone to propose.
I'm happy to propose.
Thank you. Someone to second.
I'll second.
Thank you. All approved? Thank you. C, to receive the financial strategy report for Q1, April to June 2024. To note it. And D, to receive variance report for Q1, April to June 2024.
Just to point out, members, everything's on target. I'm very happy with the inheritance of good accounts.
Thank you. Item 14. GPNF committee meeting date amendment. To consider a request by the chairman of the GPNF committee, who has left the room, to change the date for the scheduled GPNF committee meeting from the 4th of December 2024 to the 27th of November 2024. I think.
Councillor, am I not? Do we normally have a full council meeting on the 4th of November? Or Wednesday? Normally have a, because the only reason is I want to miss one for some of the lost. I could be wrong, but we do normally.
No, it's November 20th.
On the 3rd Wednesday?
Yeah, no,
I think it's just wait for.
Yeah, no, you're right.
I've got that.
Yeah, you're right.
It's not yet.
Am
I right?
Yeah, that 27th of November is a scheduled council meeting.
Oh, that's a shame. But
I've got it.
November.
27th is check.
The 6th is the first Wednesday, the 13th is the second,
Yeah.
the 20th is the third.
Yes.
We're at council meeting the 4th.
I thought it was something to do with the Christmas schedule.
Yeah. I thought we'd had them shuffled around slightly.
Really got on the agenda, it can't just down the middle of it. So what's wrong with it? You can't swap it to that day.
No, because that's a scheduled council meeting.
What, on the 27th? Yeah. Can we do it the 20th? As an amendment. Now, can I just explain the reason behind this? Because I'm not going to be there on that particular day, it's in the budget period, and Councillor Clark gets called away urgently sometimes to deal with urgent maritime issues. So rather than leave the council in the lurch with the chairman and vice chairman, could we move it to a week where we're clear? That's a reasonable and particularly it's in the budget period where that might be.
I don't disagree with you, but is there a need, if we move it back to the 20th, is there a need to have a GPF meeting in the week before the full council?
Well, it depends what we're talking about.
Yeah, because November's otherwise, November is full, because we've got a meeting on the 6th, planning's on the 13th.
Oh, no,
20th is fair, but council is the 27th. No, if you want one on the 20th, we'll do one, but my question would be, is there a need? And if you tell me there is, then...
Well, you say there isn't need to have one at all?
At this point, I don't know. I'm going to speak to you soon about GPNF.
Yeah.
But I thought the point was that GPNF would be 1 month, and then council would be another month.
Can I ask Sean, what's the date, the one before that?
It'll be 3 months before, so next time we do it's August. So in
So
the
Big
August,
Gaff, we didn't have
it is,
one.
yeah.
It just seemed a bit, I'd have to go to the 20th.
Yeah, I was agreeing with that.
Yeah, I'm happy. I do think GPNF at that time of year is important, and I'm happy to go for the 20th. I would point I am reticent about moving meetings just for one councillor or any councillor. I don't think it's appropriate. But equally, I do think we need to make sure we call it around that time for such a key meeting. So if we can move it to the 20th, I would.
Members, sorry, I've been a bit misleading. Apparently, and I don't know how it's happening, but the scheduled council meeting for November is the 20th.
That's what I mentioned.
So we can have it on the 27th if the members agree. Something must have happened when we set the meetings to bring it back a week. It's happened what it was. But yeah, the 27th is great, so I don't think we'll change. Thank you.
Can I propose?
Second. Agreed?
Yes. That's all for that now.
Stop and I'm on you.
So we're at item 15, this is exclusion of the press and the public. The result that the press and the public is excluded to a meeting for the following business on the grounds that it involves a likely disclosure of extensive information as defined in Part 1 of Schedule 12 of the Local Government Act 1977.